Hello, my name is Ella Fleming, and I'm Head of Editorial Policy and Research Integrity in Cochrane and a co convenor of the new Joint AI Methods Group. And I'm here today to talk about RAISE, the Responsible AI Use and Evidence Synthesis Recommendations and Guidance. So we heard across the community that there's a sense of overwhelm, of confusion, and a lack of clarity when it comes to the expectations and responsibilities for using AI. And about a year and a half ago, community members challenged us and said, like, if you want us to make the most of AI and produce more timely and affordable evidence synthesis, then we need guidance to be able to do that. And so a few of us got together and thought, sure, we can do that. Um, but it turned out to be much more difficult than we'd anticipated. The evidence base on what AI tools to use and when to use them is extremely limited. And so we therefore took a slightly different approach and used the pillars of research integrity. And these are the pillars on which evidence synthesis has been built. We use those to develop recommendations for the different roles within the evidence synthesis ecosystem. And so this figure here shows those different roles as defined by RAISE. And some of the key takeaways from this work is that we need to support the wider adoption of AI, and we need cross-field standards and an evidence base to be able to do that. We anticipate this ecosystem to be made up of individuals, of collaborations, organizations, groups, networks, but that each of those kind of individuals, collaborations will have different roles to play. Um, and those roles will relate to developing and using AI in a responsible way. And what's worth mentioning is that one person, one individual, or one organization may play multiple roles within this ecosystem. So, one person may be a methodologist and an evidence synthesist. Um, you may also have organizations that produce evidence synthesis as well as publish them. Um, AI tool developers may also be users of the evidence synthesis, or methodologists, or evidence synthesists themselves. And so, for example, in our audience today, the main roles covered will probably be methodologists and AI development teams, as well as evidence synthesists themselves. And so, what we hope to clarify with RAISE is that to realize the potential of AI, we all need to identify our roles in this ecosystem and commit collectively to do our part ensuring AI is used responsibly. And so I won't go through all of the roles and all of the recommendations associated with all of the roles, but instead touch on those three that are most relevant to this audience. So here we have the evidence synthesists. They have the expertise in doing systematic reviews and doing evidence synthesis, and they have the responsibility of doing them well. AI should not replace humans. Humans are accountable for the work they produce. And that's not just a question of publishing conventions around authorship. In order for research to be used, it needs to be worthy of trust. So, someone, the evidence synthesist, and not something, AI is responsible for all of the decisions that are made during that research process and the output of that research. What they need to know is what tools are validated for use and how to use them in their evidence synthesis in a way that will enhance and not undermine their work. They are also responsible for ensuring the ethical, legal, and regulatory standards are adhered to when using AI. Second, we have the methodologist. They have expertise in research methodologist and are responsible for defining best practice. They can be seen as the kind of bridge between evidence synthesists and AI tool development teams. They need to evaluate tools rigorously and report those evaluations in an honest and transparent way. So, a methodologist may not have in depth technical knowledge of AI technologies, nor may they have kind of programming expertise. But what they do need to know is how to contribute to building a robust evidence base that supports the responsible use of AI in evidence synthesis. And then third, we have the AI development teams. And by AI development team, we mean anyone working in developing or deploying AI tools or systems that will assist in one or more evidence synthesis tasks. So this could be some of your big kind of AI development teams with commercial tools, or it may be individuals working by themselves on a specific AI application. So it's not just those kind of software coders, but also the designers, product owners, and even like the people involved in marketing. AI developers are the ones who understand the technical details of how the AI technologies work. They understand the strengths, they understand the limitations, they're aware of the potential biases and how generalizable the tool is. They should also have an understanding of the principles that underpin reliable evidence synthesis, and they should be applying those principles when developing their tools. They'll also need to know how to evaluate and validate their tools, along with what levels of expected accuracy they should be benchmarking against. And on that note, I just want to plug a survey that launched last week. We don't currently have consensus on kind of how correct evidence synthesis should be. We don't have consensus on accuracy standards. And that's for current best practice, humans only, as well as how that might change with AI. And so, to build some consensus or to understand community expectations that can help inform that, we have launched this survey. It's part of the Destiny project, which is Wellcome funded. And it's a real first kind of step in collating expectations to inform future work in this area. It might raise more questions than it answers, but we really do encourage, particularly people here today listening in and at this conference, to take part in the discussion by completing this survey. Okay, back to RAISE. So RAISE is now 3 papers. It's a 3-paper series. You have the first paper, which includes the recommendations for all of the roles across the ecosystem. The second paper contains guidance on building and evaluating AI evidence synthesis tools, which focuses on determining if an AI tool does what it claims to do to an acceptable standard. RAISE 3 offers guidance on selecting and using AI evidence synthesis tools, with the focus here being on whether an AI tool can be used for a specific evidence synthesis. And this has been a huge collaborative piece of work with individuals from over 30 organizations from across evidence synthesis. We felt that was really important to really try and help align expectations, align recommendations across different organizations. And so now that we have RAISE, I also wanted to quickly mention some of the priority areas that we're working on. So by we, I mean the new Joint AI Methods Group. So first, working with tool developers to provide them with more clarity on what information needs to be public about their AI tools. So from the work we've done so far, what's in the blue boxes is really key, but is missing. So this includes ensuring there's public information on the system, and there are clear terms and conditions. Second, making sure those evaluations are publicly available and transparently reported. And third, it's about having public information about the strengths, about the limitations, biases, and generalizability of the tools, having those public so authors, systematic reviewers, evidence synthesis can make informed decisions about whether or not they can use it in their specific review. Second, we need to clarify kind of organizational position for authors. So we're working on a position statement that will cover more information, more details about the areas covered in the purple boxes here, which are the basis for our position. And third, we are identifying other priority areas to develop AI literacy, particularly with a focus on how we can support authors and editors.